Welcome, Elite Manifestors. Scalar Revolution here, and today we will be talking about the importance of repetition in manifesting. The reason why repetition is very important in manifesting is because we live in a very entropic reality, meaning that everything is at a constant rate of decay and just constantly breaking down. Everything is in a constant state of change. So this is why, as you can see, I have my 9 dial unit here. You guys have seen in other videos. You may need to change your rates at certain times. You may have a rate, depending on the situation, it may work well for you for 3 days, 7 days. You always want to constantly check this. Maybe it might even be one day if you're in a very chaotic situation. Maybe you want to change this daily to keep the energies fresh. It all depends on the situation, but we live in a very entropic reality. I mean, as soon as you're born, technically the death process starts. I know that sounds kind of dark, but I mean, it's the reality of the world we live in. But this is why you want to repeat your projections daily, sometimes even twice daily. I like to do things at least 2 to 3 times a day to keep things potent and fresh. As you can see, I got my laser here. And usually I have this feeding into one of my amplifiers. And what you can do, especially if you have these, you see on the input plate here, I have my Mectech cells. What I like to do is put my hand, usually I like to do 2 hands, but I'll do one since I'm holding the camera. But when I first wake up in the morning, as you see, I got the laser there to transfer the information even further. I put my hand on here and say, I love that new job I have gotten now, fully remote, paying me 6 figures. And I like to do this early in the morning when I first wake up and right before I go to bed. And I feel it's best to do these things too when you feel really energized. I'm a morning person, so especially after I get my coffee in, I do my meditation, I'm feeling really energized. That's when I tend to like to do these things. It really gets me going. And I also like to start the day off with, as you can see, I got my alchemical oils here. I'll be doing a video on those separately. And I like to rub those on my Palo Santo sticks. It's another tip I'll get into with you guys. But this really changes the energy of the room. Palo Santo sticks are really good in general just to use alone, but using the oils really makes them a lot more powerful. So this is, to me, they're a must-have to use, and it really changes the energy of your environment. As I said, this ties into what I was talking about with the entropic reality. This using all of these tools creates a non-entropic field, but at the same time, you have to keep using your consciousness to really reinforce that reality. So using all of these tools helps. When you have oils like we have machines like I do, it really makes things easier to manifest within your reality, because it's I like to relate it to when you're planting a seed. You don't want to plant a seed in like a desert, unless it's that type of plant in a desert like environment, something that's dry, dead. You want rich, fertile soil. And I like to relate this, especially like when it comes to using these oils, getting that smoke going in your environment is really germinating your manifesting environment, really giving it a lot more fertility and effectiveness. I notice a huge difference when I'm using these along with the scalar manifesting this. Those also spin those energies into your environment as well for whatever you're trying to manifest. And I just using a combination of all of these, it really just puts me on a winning streak, and I really love it. So that's why I'm sharing that with you guys. I like to, usually I dowse to see what I need. As you can see, I got a wooden pendulum here. I'll be making videos on these as well, but this is very great for, especially if you're really skilled with pendulums, for picking up these scalar fields. And as I said, wood has a consciousness of itself. Very good material to use. Refocus that here. But yeah, as you can see, have a pretty good collection of these. I've collected a lot of these over the years for all sorts of purposes: love, money, well-being, banishing, uncrossing. Typically, that's what I was gonna get into a second ago. Unless like my pendulum, like when I'm doing my dowsing, it says I don't really need it. I like to start the day off with an uncrossing and banishing to really clear the energy, get things flowing easier. And then sometimes you don't have to do it right away, but you can follow up with something else, whatever else you're trying to manifest, whether it be some luck, success, some love energy. I like to wait a little bit, usually like an hour or so. and then follow up with something else. And it really just depends on what I'm dowsing for. Maybe my financial energies are high at the moment, so maybe I need a little bit of extra love energy in my environment, or vice versa. It just depends on how I'm feeling and what I feel the need to douse for. But I'm gonna get into more in-depth videos on this as well. I'm using it for something right now, so I'm not. That's the reason I haven't really messed with it too much in these in the previous video you may have seen. But once I get that going, I'll definitely make a lot more videos on this. It's a very cool, rare unit. I like. Don't really see too much of these out there, especially in this day and age. But the upgrades are important, as you can see. I always stress lasers. Oh, and that's another thing. I'll get into this in the separate video I make on these. But when I mentioned using these Palo Santo sticks, when I rub the oils on, which you want to do in a clockwise fashion, which means to the right, unless you're doing uncrossing. If you're putting an uncrossing or banishing oil, you want to do it in a counterclockwise manner, because it's removing energy. But I like to add that on the sticks to give them a extra power. I run it under the laser to transfer that information at a much higher level, and then I burn them and go all throughout my environment and keep those energies high. And you'll notice a huge difference when using these. A lot of people I noticed the sage, what is sage? People burning sage, that seems to be like the most popular thing. That's really weak from what I've seen. I know a lot of people that burn sage, and I mean, most people aren't real with themselves, and I don't really see it do much for their life. But if you want to burn something, I know it gives you a lot much of that thicker smoke. So I get why people use it. They probably feel like it does a lot more than the Palo Santo sticks, but that's just a, life tip for you guys. The Palo Santo sticks are definitely far superior to this sage. Sage gives off a very weak energy. Palo Santo sticks are a lot more effective for, you really want to cleanse your energies and remove all that, stagnant energy in your environment. But there you have it, guys. That's my talk for the day. Scalar Revolution out.